Get in because we like to start on time. I usually like to try to do two seller's net sheets per class. I sent you the paperwork, or Laura sent you the paperwork. I'm Jose Martinez. I'm your instructor. And Happy New Year's to you all. Let me say that I congratulate you for taking time out of your busy schedule to getting an education, to learning. I think that's important. I'm going to give you something that I like to always leave a word when I train. I train all over. So one of the things I like to give is my word of the year and the word of the day. Uh, Change. Change is going to be, it's the one constant. You know, I've heard lawyers say, never say absolutes. Absolutes when something is like, I'll give you an example. Uh, Frank Sinatra is the best singer ever. That's an absolute. Okay. Other people may argue with that. So that's why sometimes you don't want to say something that's an absolute. But this is an absolute for all of you. One thing that's absolutely going to be with you today, tomorrow, and forever is this word: change. Change does not sleep. Change is waiting for you to wake up so it can introduce itself to you. Change is always here. When I started in this business, one page contract, you put the key under a brick, under the rock, somewhere. No disclosures. Today, how many pages in a contract? 10, with all kinds of disclosures, AD form, and we don't put the key under the rock anymore because of change. The Supra. Okay. Most of you work on the MLS through the computer. I worked on it and change. You worked on with a book, paperwork, chain. It's the one constant with you. Seller's net sheet. I've been doing them forever. Why? When I started off, how did we say, give me an estimate? When my client said, Mr. Martinez, can you give me an estimate? I'd pull out my calculator and say 35,000, because that's how much a home was selling for, or 32,000 times 8.5%. That is how much it's going to cost you, Mr. and Mrs. Seller. Do you do that today? I'm asking. You don't have to answer. No, this is not. But if you haven't changed, you should. In some states, they regulate a seller's net sheet. I know this. I believe in loss mitigation. And if somebody said to me, Mr. Martinez, and I was in court, do you do a seller's net sheet? My answer will be yes. So what would be your answer? And even if you don't do a seller's net sheet, make sure you get a seller's net sheet. You can get one through Escrow, which is a HUD 1. But I think it's better that you understand the seller's net sheet. It is part of your broker's file. If not already, one day it will be, because it's part of SkySlope. It's optional right now in SkySlope. I say in a year more, it will be mandatory. Pretty soon it'll be mandatory in the state of California. They're just waiting for that legal case that will push it over. Okay. So I say to you, seller's net sheet should be a part of your broker's file, should be a part of your legal file. Okay. There's two files. Broker file gets you paid. A legal file protects you in court. I sent you some information through Laura, and 3 of the sheets were seller's net sheets. And if you look at them, they're all, one says non-owner Orange County, and that's the first one we're going to start with. The other one says owner, forgive me, it says supposed to say San Bernardino County up on the top. And then the third one is there for you to have as a template. You should make a seller's net sheet. You should have it and utilize it for all your files. When do I use the seller's net sheet? When I'm taking a listing. When I'm getting the offers, I go over the net sheets with my clients, and the final net sheet, the one that we accepted and the one that we opened up escrow with. I give that to my clients, they sign it, I have one, and escrow has one. So I give escrow one when I open up. That's part of my routine, okay, just so you'll know. Also, I sent to you a seller's net sheet formula so that when we go over everything, you will have it so that you can understand it better and make your own net sheets and learn it. Once you learn the net sheet, it's up here. You don't need the formula. It's up there. I sent you two sheets that are from the property, let's call it title reps. They give you a book. I have a booklet from my title rep that tells me what the title fees are going to be for a property at from 49,000 on up. You should ask your title reps to provide you with that book so that it gives you the rates. It's a rate book for property sold at the various prices. And I sent you also, I think, a form from CRMLS that shows the seller's net sheet. The reason I sent you that is to show you that CRMLS has a seller's net sheet. Title reps, all kind of people have seller's net sheets. That's telling you, telling me, telling us, you should have a seller's net sheet. Okay. Now, I've had agents say to me, Mr. Martinez, my broker doesn't require it. Hey, I guarantee you, if somebody, once again, I know lawyers, litigation comes to be a part of the issue, you're going to wish you had a seller's net sheet. Okay. I believe, that's my belief. Okay. So let's go. Let's go with the first one. And I want you to get your pen out, get your calculator out, and get the first seller's net sheet that says Orange County non-owner. In the event that you have any questions, if you'll put it in chat, and maybe Laura can see it, or unmic yourself and let me know, Mr. Martinez, I have a question. I want to take your questions. Okay. These classes are ongoing. So my goal is to help you understand how to do a seller's net sheet so that you can do them quickly. So when you take a listing, you're able to do it quickly, efficiently. It's part of your routine, and you're showing your clients what that amount is going to be.
Excuse me.
Yes.
Can we please have the PDF? We can open the handout, Laura.
Yes, I'm in the middle of sending it to you right now. You just emailed me.
You'll get it. Okay. And so the listing seller's net sheet to me is a couple of things. One, it's a legal tool. Two, it's the listing tool. As a listing agent, if you're not using a seller's net sheet, I think it's a disadvantage to you. Okay. I've been told all the time, the other agent didn't give me a net sheet or didn't present a net sheet. And I simply say, I don't know why they didn't do it. And I leave it at that. Okay. It's a tool. It's a tool for you as a listing agent. It's a tool for your sellers to see what an estimate will be. That's all it is. It's an estimate. It doesn't hold us to a specific number. It says specifically it's an estimate. And it says in that seller's net sheet, and I'll read it to you, what it says there. It says, the estimate is based upon the projected selling or financing and estimated closing dates. It has been prepared to assist the seller in the computing their costs. Lenders and escrow copies could vary in their charges. These figures cannot be guaranteed by broker or representative, or if you need to pay or if you have to pay for buyer's fees. So it's sort of a disclaimer. It tells you this is a estimate, but I can assure you, I use it all the time. And the reason I like it is you're so close, within hundreds of dollars. And for me, normally I'm conservative. My clients usually get more. So get used to a net sheet. I think it'll be of assistance to you. I hope you all have them in front of you now. And we'll start, pull out the one that says Orange County and non-owner. Okay. Now, and before I get going too, there are one item that's not here. This is a regular sale. There are international buyers. For those of you who deal with international buyers may pay up to 10 to 15% more on fees than the fees that we're going to be discussing with. We're not talking about international buyers. So if it's a buyer from Canada, from China, from Russia, from Mexico, and they don't live here, it could be as high as 15%. If they live in the property and they're still international buyers, it could be 10%. You should contact your escrow officer to find out about the fees if it's an international buyer, because it could be higher than the fees that I'm discussing with you. Most of you are going to be doing what I call regular buyers, people that live and sell in the United States. And these are the people I'm talking about. A non-owner is a buyer that lives in the United States, but he doesn't live in the property. It's a lease. So that's what we're talking about today. This property is in Orange County. So pull out that one, and you can see that we're going to be listing it. I already put the list price for you, so that you can see you're going to be listing it for $1,200,000. Going to make a lot of money. $1,200,000. It's a little house in Orange County, because in Orange County, houses cost a lot of money. Are you all with me? So we're looking at the property, and you can see it says, you could write this in there. This property is, for all purposes, we're going to pretend it was built in 2000, the year 2000. Okay. It's non-owner, Orange County. So let's get to our seller's net sheet, and let's start figuring out what we're going to do. Let's pull that out as well. Jose's formula and the seller's net sheet. Now, when I take a listing and you come in, the reason I'm putting up this price of $1,200,000, all of you looked at the data, the MLS information, the information that's available to you. And when you sit down with your clients, you're going over reality, and you're going to sit down with your clients. And in this particular scenario, you said to your client, you know, Mr. and Mrs. Seller, your home, if you look at the data, they're selling between $1,150,000 to about $1,200,000, and some a little less. And you pull out the data and they look at it, and you tell your client, I'd like to take the listing in and list the property, if I may, at $1,200,000. And they go, thank you. Thank you very much. Anthony, oh, Betty, thank you. $1,200,000. Thank you very much. So that's the first thing you do. Figure out the value. In this case, we figured out $1,200,000. Now, if you look on your paperwork, I put projected selling price. List price and selling price sometimes are not the same. And I'll give you an example. If I said to Laura, how much do you want to list your home for? And we settled at $1,200,000. And I said, Laura, what is your bottom line? And she says, well, $1,200,000. That would be my projected sales price, because that's her bottom line. But let's say Laura said to us, no, Jose, $1,200,000. I didn't expect that. I'll take, how about $1,150,000? And I go, that's great. So there it is. Projected sales price, $1,150,000. I put it in everybody's. So that's the bottom line. And when I take a listing, I like to know what is the bottom line. Why? So that I know if I got any latitude. You know I got $50,000 worth of latitude. Now, meaning if I get a buyer and they offer me $1,160,000, can I sell it? Possibly. If they offer me $1,150,000, can I sell it? Possibly. So that's what I'm saying to you. I've got latitude from $1,200,000 to $1,150,000. My bottom line. The next thing I asked Laura, and all of you get your pens ready, is let's look to the left of the page of the estimated seller's net sheet. It says encumbrances. Right next to that, all debt. All debt. Okay. Encumbrances. Encumbrances are these, ladies and gentlemen, exactly what it means. All debt. Okay. First, second, third, fourth, how many loans do you have? I had to get 7 loans to get my property. Okay. 7 loans, yes. So you get 7, whatever it takes. What other debt do they have? Credit card debt. I have clients that are calling me, they have credit card debt. What other debt? HELOC loans, home equity lines of credit, a HELOC. Okay. If they're building a pool in your backyard, they probably got a mechanic's lien on it right now. You probably got a lien on it. That's a loan. Okay. If you have Hero air conditioning on your roof or windows or that is a loan. Okay. Heroes don't let you get away. Wait a minute. I've been married. I'm like Richard Burton of the old movie star days. I got married to 5 different women and I have, don't want to brag, 15 children. Oh my goodness. I have to pay child support for 15 children and 5 wives. Okay. Or ladies, it could be the other way around now, If you're making a lot of money, 5 husbands, whatever you want. Okay. Child support, spousal support. You haven't paid your taxes. Some of my clients, when they're going to sell their property, say, I haven't paid my taxes, Mr. Martinez, in 5 years. Is that a problem? No, we'll just take it out of the equity. So any lien or debt is under encumbrances. All right. So in this case, you're talking to the seller and you're asking the seller, Mr. Seller, Mrs. Seller, do we have any debts? And she says, yes, we have. And one of the other things that I like to ask before I take the listing and do all of this, what are your goals? Why ask that question? You'd be surprised when somebody says, well, if I can get 50,000 or 100,000, I'd like to buy a condo, or I'm going to do this, or I'm going to do that. You want to know what their goals are, okay? Because if they make a certain amount of money and they tell you they are going to do something else, you want to attach yourself to those goals, okay? Let's continue. So I'm asking the seller, how much do we owe? And she says, well, we have a first trust deed, Jose, because we just bought the house in 2000 of 500,000. So right where it says first trust deed, 500,000. Anything else? Well, Jose, you can't buy $1 million house without getting 2 loans. Okay, so we have a second trust deed of 179,000. First trust deed, 500,000. Second trust deed, 179,000. Are you with me? All right. Anybody have any questions? This is the time to speak. I asked, are there any other debts? And she says, yes, Jose. We had a pool built in the back. Cost us in 2000. We paid 150,000 for it. We still owe $22,000 on it. So there's another debt. So put down there, other debt, 22,000. Let's add that all up together. 500 plus 179 plus 22 equals. Anybody got the answer? Nope. I'll give it to you. 701. $701,000. They got a little bit of debt. $701,000. So now what do we do? Let's look at our seller's net sheet. It says, number 1, the first thing to do is find out what projected gross equity is going to be. The way to do that, it says sales price minus debt. Sales price minus debt. Projected sales price, put it in your calculator, $1,150,000 minus debt of how much? $701,000 equals, anybody got the number? Ricardo, don't be afraid. 449,000. If you have 1,150,000, which is projected sales price, which we anticipate selling it for, minus debt of 701, we have a projected gross equity of 449,000. Now we're listing it for $1.2 million. So if you got an offer of $1.2 million down the road, you're going to be writing up a net sheet, the final net sheet at what price? $1.2 million. But this is your listing, your first listing estimate. Okay. So here we go. Keep going. Let's take a look. What's next? Escrow fees. Now, escrow fees are usually about $2 per thousand, and they have a setup fee. My formula says $250. What is a setup fee? A setup fee is anytime they put anybody's name in there. If they put Anthony's name in there, Anthony, or they put Betty's in there, or Charlene, how you doing, Charlene? Or they put anybody's name in there, they have to do a setup fee for that. Okay, the names are not there. Usually it's about $2 per thousand. Now, if you want to know, like for your escrow, because this is about a listing. When you're the listing agents, who are you? The kings and the queens. All listing agents are the kings and the queens. I bow down to you guys. I'm gonna tell you that right now. Maybe I'll bow down twice. Why? Because you control everything. When you're the listing agent, you control escrow, title, this, that, everything. The queens, the kings. So if you're not sure about what title, your title or escrow charges, ask them. Get your charts. Ask your escrow, what do you charge? So you can put in the exact number. I'm going to say average, conservatively, they charge about $2 per thousand, and they have a setup fee of around $250, some a little bit more. Okay, you can check in with your own escrow. But for today, we're using this conservative. I guarantee it's going to work. It's going to work. Okay. So we're looking at escrow, and it says escrow is $2 per thousand plus a setup fee of $250 to say, put it in your name. We're selling it for $1,150,000. Okay. Times what? 0.2% equals how much? Anybody want to tell me? 2,300. Plus what? Plus what? A setup fee. Yes, a setup fee of $250. 23 plus 250 equals what? 2,550. So escrow is going to be 2,550. How do we get that? 1,150,000 times 0.2% equals 2,300 plus $250 equals 2,550. Is everybody with me? All right. If you're not, got a question, like I said, please get on the line. Please. I want to hear you. The next items, if you look, they're already in your seller's net sheet. Sub escrow, recording, drawing deed. Why? Because they don't change. They don't change. They basically are the same fees for years, and they're not going to change. You're not going to have to worry about them. But if you look at your seller's net sheet, number 3, 4, and 5, for those of you who love scripts, this is your script. This whole sheet is your script when you talk to somebody. What is a sub escrow? Now, I know Charlene Meadows knows what sub escrow is. Okay, she comes to my classes, and some of you others. Sub escrow is not an escrow fee, ladies and gentlemen. It is a fee charged by the title companies. It's usually around $150, split between both buyer and seller. You see how I did it? I'm not looking at a script. It's right here. Okay. Sub escrow, that's what it is. It's not an escrow fee, but a fee charged by the title companies, Mr. and Mrs. Seller. And that fee is usually about $150. Split between both buyer and seller, your fee is going to be approximately $75. Now, if any of you don't would like to check, and you've sold properties, look at your closings and check my fees. You'll see I'm right there. They're within a few dollars, less, a few dollars more, right there. Sub escrow, $75. Recording, $125. It's not going to change. What is it for? Look at it, number 4. There's your script. Recording fees, $125. Could be fees for recording or reconveyance or attorney documents. There it is. What is it for? It's right there. Okay. Drawing deed, how much is it gonna be? $125 today and tomorrow. What is it for? There it is. Number 5, drawing deed. It's to draw up the what? The grant deed. To draw up the grant deed. They're drawing it up for a new buyer. Drawing fee. What are they drawing up? Drawing the deed, a grant deed. How much? 125. So those fees, 75, 125, 125, not going to change. That's why it's in the seller's net sheet already for you. So when you make your own, you don't have to think about those figures. Bam. But the explanation is right there in your seller's net sheet formula so that you can understand the script. The script. What is it for? Anybody can say, well, here's the fees. Well, what are they for? Oh, they're escrow fees and garbage fees. These are the garbage fees that people talk about. Okay. Next one. Next one is title insurance. Well, I sent you over a sheet, 2 sheets actually, because I have a booklet, but I only sent you 2 sheets. If you go to 1,150,000, let's all go to 1,150,000 together. I'm going to look for 1,150,000. Okay. I'm at 1,150,000. If you look to the right of that and look up, it says Eagles owner policy. This is the title company. I always want the best policy. It says that's going to be what? $2,732. So how much is 2,000? Did I say $2,732? Yep, and $32. So let me write that down. $2,732. That is our title fee. It's coming from the title chart. So if you look at your formula, it says see title chart. Why? Because we don't make the fees. The title companies make the fees. I look at the rate chart, put it right in there. Boom, there it is. $2,732, and it comes from looking at their rate chart. All right. The next one is, we're looking down the list. Let's see, transfer tax. Now, if you look at your formula, it says for all of you, most of you are only going to work in 4 counties: Riverside, San Bernardino, Los Angeles, and Orange County. Maybe one of you are going to go to Kern once in a while, okay? But most of you are going to be in those 4 counties. So here it goes. San Bernardino and Riverside. The transfer tax in San Bernardino is $1.10 per 1,000. You don't have to go writing it down. It's already here. Number 7. It says, and in Orange County and in LA County, it is $2.20 per 1,000. Hasn't changed. It's not going to change. And if it does, we'll let you know. Okay. But right now, the tax, San Bernardino, Riverside, $1.10. Orange and Los Angeles, double it. That's how you can figure it out. Double it. $2.20. Okay. So you should know that. Boom. What's the transfer tax in Riverside? $1.10. Orange County, $2.20. LA, $2.20. San Bernardino, $1.10. Simple, simple. So there you go. Where is this house that we're talking about right now? Orange County. So the transfer tax in Orange County is how much? $2.20. We are selling it for $1,150,000. Now my formula says this so that you could learn it. It's just the formula in case you ever get lost. And I give it to you because what if you were selling it for $1,150,000.72? When you have odd numbers, then you're going to really need my formula, okay? Otherwise, most people will say to me, oh, Mr. Martinez, I know how to do it. I could just think of it on the top of my head, okay? So here goes. The formula says whatever the sales price divided by 1,000 then you get that number. So in this case, if you look at it and you go, 1,000,000, let's put in your calculators. Let me get mine out. 115,000,000. 1,150,000 divided by 1,000 equals 1,150. Are you with me? Times what? Times 2.2, don't hit percent, equals, don't hit percent, 2.2, $2,530. Okay. 1,150,000 divided by 1,000 equals 1,150 times what? 2.2 gives me what? $2,530. Okay. So our transfer tax for that area is $2,530. Now, if you had a home of $950,000, you don't really have to go divide it by 1,000. You can just say 950 times whatever the sales tax, transfer tax of that county. Okay, if it's San Bernardino, 1.1. If it's Orange County, 2.2. But I'm just giving you the formula so that you know how to do it in case you're ever stuck. It's $1,150,221.31. Let me see. That's a tricky one. Let's keep going. So now we know transfer tax is going to be $2,530. Prepayment penalty. I always ask the question, but usually it's going to be 0. Okay, but ask the question anyhow. Mr. and Mrs. Seller, do you have a prepayment penalty? Let them tell you, no, we don't. And if they tell you, I'm not sure, then you tell them, check with your lender and let me know. I'm going to put a check next to that. Let me know if you have or don't have, okay? And then follow it up. But most of you are not going to have one. Those are old loans that they had that had prepayment penalties. But I still ask the question, do you have a prepayment penalty? Okay. And in this case, no, 0. Reconveyance, 125. It's already built into the net sheet. Why? Look at it right there. Look at your script. Reconveyance, $125. What is it for? For the deeds of trust, first, second, third, to reconvey first, second, third, to give clear title. That's what it's for. Okay. And it's already built in, so you don't have to look at it. Interest. Okay. Now, interest.
Jose, you have a question if you want to answer it.
Yes. What is the question?
I have always seen LA County dock transfer tax of 0.55 per 500 or 1.10 per 1,000. Why does it say cost 2.20 per 1,000 in LA County here in the handout?
Because once again, I'm not sure what you're really saying, but if you could go and look at any transfer tax data that's available to you. The transfer tax in Los Angeles County and Orange County is $2.20. The transfer tax in San Bernardino and Riverside currently is $1.10. So I'm giving you accurate numbers. I'm not exactly sure what you're telling me without seeing a document, because there's a lot of documents that are out there. We're talking about the transfer tax for Los Angeles County, the transfer tax for Orange County, the transfer tax for Riverside and San Bernardino. Now, I don't have Alameda County in front of me, but I can tell you this, they're in the, let's say the $10, $20, because you can go and look, Google it when we're done with this class, so you can confirm who I am and check, and they'll tell you, here's the chart, here's the transfer tax for every county. So I'm not sure what you're telling me about without seeing the document. I'm giving you the transfer tax for the county of Los Angeles, the transfer tax for the county of Orange, Riverside, and San Bernardino. I have used this for 32 years. My clients never get less money. They usually get more. So I'm giving you a tool that I'm confident of what I'm saying. You'd have to show me the document you're describing so I can answer them. That's all I can say. I hope I answered your question. Anyone else? We'll continue. All right. You can all check. I can show you. Mr. Martinez checks before he does anything. For those of you who don't know me, I'm thorough about what I do. So when I tell you it's $2.20, you can bet your bottom bippy it is. Okay? That's all I'm going to say. That's all I'm going to say. So in this case, the transfer tax was $2,530, and we move on. Prepayment was 0. We got the reconveyance of $125. Interest. How do you find out the interest? You ask the owner, Mr. Owner, interest to me, once again, if escrow gives you an estimate, it's for 45 days. If a lender gives you an estimate, it's for 45 days. Realtors give estimates in 30-day increments. Don't ask me why. That's how we do it, okay? And it works out because that's what we do. We're saying we're going to close a house in 30 days, okay? You give this to escrow. Sometimes it extends, but it works. It all works out. Here we go. Interest. How do I find out? I ask the owner. So in this case, we ask the owner, Mr. and Mrs. Owner, what is your monthly payment? He says, my monthly payment is $5,500 a month. Okay, that's your monthly payment. Principal and interest. What's your monthly payment? $5,500. The next question you follow up with, do you have any HOA? And she says, I do, Jose. I have an HOA of $500 monthly. So that's what you put there. That's interest. Both of them combined. Well, she said my payment is $6,000. I'm sorry, my payment is $6,000, and my HOA is $500. So in this case, we're going to say $6,500. Payment $6,000, HOA $500 for a total every month of $6,500. I got to give $6,500 every month in payout. So let's put down on interest 65, monthly payment 6,000, HOA 500 for a total of 65. Preps and docs, it's already there. How much is it? $200. What is it for? To prepare the docs. They got to prepare them, and it costs $200 to prepare those docs. Okay. Next one, appraisal. I have 0 there. 99.9% of the time, seller's not going to pay for the appraisal, but I can tell you this, it is a tool that I use. That doesn't mean that you won't pay for an appraisal. I'm just letting you know that. And I'll give you the example. I know of a property, and I've said it before, that another agent prior to myself selling, and he said, Jose, I asked him, how come you didn't sell the property? He said, people were afraid to make an offer because they didn't think the value was going to come in. Did you get any offers? And he said, yeah, we got multiple offers, but all of them were afraid to write up the offer and submit it. Okay. So when the listing expired because the agent and maybe the seller, for whatever reason, it dissolved. I knocked on the owner's door after they expired and told him I could sell his property. He said, how could I sell it quicker than the other agent? And I said, I think I know why it didn't sell. You had people that wanted to buy it, but nobody wanted to make an offer because they were afraid of the values. And I said, we could get it sold. Give me 30 days. And the trick to it was we got offers. I put it basically the same price, and we got offers. And all of them said, we're afraid to make an offer. So here's what I said to all the agents. Why are you afraid? They go, well, my client's going to pay for an appraisal and the value may not come in. So I told them, we'll pay for the appraisal. Okay. I was confident that we can get the value. That's number one. The seller wanted to sell. And I knew there was buyers that wanted to buy. They were just afraid because of the value. So I eliminated that by saying, we'll pay for it. that's the one time that a seller will pay for it. I have to hook the fish or I can't go into escrow. So I'm not going to tell you an appraisal, a seller never pays for it. That's a technique. I used it to our advantage. We got an offer. We paid for the appraisal. The value came in. We sold the property and end of the story. So appraisals are not always zeroed for me. They are a tool in my box. And I can say, maybe if a seller says they're afraid and I know the value is there, we'll pay for it. I want to hook the fish and get them into escrow. So we eliminated it. In this case, it says 0. Pest inspection. In your, I sent it to you blank. Normally when I do a home inspect, a seller's net sheet, it has $75 without work, meaning I'm going to get a pest inspector to do the inspection. It's going to be $75, but that's all it's going to be is the report. Why? Because I like to get the pest report and give it to the respective buyers when they're going to buy it. Either it's going to say clear or it's going to say infestation and I'm going to tell them my seller's going to pay for it, or it's going to say infestation and you're going to get it the way it is, as is, in its as is condition. So I'm not adverse. I know some of you agents don't like to do pest reports because if you don't know what's going on, no known facts, I don't have to disclose them. But you know the other side, I can write you an offer. I don't have to ask for a pest report. We get into escrow, contingency periods. I can order a pest report then. I can order every report known to man on that house. Why? Because I have a right to. And then I can still tell you while we're in escrow, now I want you to fix it with the request for repairs. I'm just sort of shooting this out to you guys because I know that there's two sides. Let's not do this. Let's not do that. Okay. I like telling people when I sell a house, this is what we know about the house. It's got termites. They're holding the house together. They got their hands. Here's the X-ray of them. And you're going to get the house that way. But in this case, pest inspection, 0. So let's put 0. FHA, VA costs. On all of my net sheets, when I'm taking a listing, they're all going to say 0. But I'm going to explain to you, the seller, the fees. Mr. Seller, we can have VA buyers. We can have FHA buyers. We can have conventional buyers. We can have Mickey Mouse buyers. Any name they want to use. If the buyer would like costs, they may ask for costs. How much cost do they ask for, Mr. Martinez? Well, they could ask for up to $1 on up. Some are, well, could ask for 3%, 4%. Some are crazy and ask for 6%. Oh, I don't really want to pay 3% or 6% of this. Well, we're going to have 0 here. Let's not worry about that, but I want you to know, Mr. Seller, that buyers do ask for closing costs, okay? Or may ask for closing costs. But right now, we're going to show that there are no closing costs. Okay? If we sold it at this price, with these circumstances, this is what the fees will be. Okay? But I let them know. I let my clients know there are costs sometimes. Okay? So on pest, 0. On FHA, VA, put 0. Home warranty, Mr. and Mrs. Seller. I see you have a beautiful home here built in 2000. I see you got the pool out there. Why don't we put a home warranty with it? Does it have value? I think it does. Okay. I like to put a home warranty or anything. Here goes. When I'm listing a property, I like to offer you the moon, the stars, and the planets. That doesn't mean you're going to get the moon, the stars, and the planets. If you offer me less, you may get less, but I like to offer you those things because I want to attract you to my listing. Okay. So in this case, I say to Mr. and Mrs. Seller, let's order a home protection and offer home protection when we sell the property. How much will it be? And I say, it's going to be $600 because we're going to offer it and it's going to include $650 because it's going to include the pool and the spa. You got a spa back there. I see that. $650. So where it says home warranty, put $650, okay? Now, you can get, when you're getting a home warranty, you can get one that says home, pool, okay, spa, but you got to get equipment too. There's a heater back there. There's a heater that heats that spa up and that pool up. Equipment. So it's about 650, 625, 650. Once again, I'm giving you an average. You can check with your home protection company. All right. Commission. Uh-oh. Let's go to commission. Get your calculators. You gave me a listing. Oh my goodness. Geneva Lee was, oh, Gina. Oh my God. Jenny, Jessica. You guys are just so dramatic. And so I was overwhelmed with your listing presentation. And Joanna had the computer out. That's what I like. So all of you got it, but I said, you know what? I don't want to pay 6% commission. So we said, okay, I'll do it at 5% commission on a $1,150,000 home, 5%. And how much is the commission? Anybody want to give me the answer? Come on. I got it already, but I want to see if anybody got it. Commission on 1,150,000 times 5%.
$57,500.
Let me see. Times 5%. 57.5. That's why you guys always have these Mercedes and jets and Lexus. Wow, 57.5. 57.5. And now you got to justify it. That's usually the big one, huh? And it's real simple. Mr. and Mrs. Seller, I don't keep it all. I wish I could. Okay. Now, I don't know what you say. I'm going to tell you what I say. Here's what I say. I wish I could, but I'm going to be offering 3%, 2.5% out and keeping 2.5% in. So I wish I can keep all 5%. But I can do this. I will put down in my listing presentation, if sold by Mr. Martinez, commission will be reduced to 4% if sold by Jose Martinez. I do that on listings when I'm going to see that. Here goes. What I'm doing right there, I'm not saying you have to do it. What I'm doing right there, I'm telling my clients, I'm willing to do it at 4%. I'm going to put it in the listing contract. If sold by Jose Martinez, listing will be sold at 4%. And I say to my sellers right then and there, if I sell it, you're going to get another point put in your pocket. What's another point? Well, look at that money they're going to be getting. You get to save money, and I get to earn a little bit more money. Right now, I'm only going to get 2.5, but if I double end it, I'll do it at 4. And that's one of the techniques that I utilize when I'm taking a listing. I'm not saying you guys got to do it. No, I want all of it. Good for you if you can get it all. But when I'm doing a listing, that's one of the techniques, and I write it in the contract. If sold by Jose Martinez, listing agent, total commission to be 4%. So they're getting a bump, and I'm getting a bump. Okay, that's a technique. Now remember, I told you, I asked them, what do you plan on doing? And she said, if I can get $50,000, I'd like to buy another house. I'm always trying to endear myself to my clients. Okay. Your clients are your data. If you want to be with your clients forever, you need to know how to work with your clients so that your clients love you. I've been in this business 4 decades. I don't look for business anymore. I'm too old for that. Business comes to me, my referrals. That's what you need. And you're not going to get it. I have friends that list a lot more listings than I did, 500, 600, 700 listings, and they still are chasing buyers. They chase buyers today. That's a shame that they sold more property than I did, and they have to still chase buyers today because they didn't take care of their data. I'll leave it at that. Let's keep going. So the brokerage is 57,500. Buyer's fees, once again, buyer's fees. I explained to the sellers prior, there could be any kind of fee. You can call it buyer's fees, FHA fees, but what are buyer's fees? Buyer's fees are something that comes, Mr. and Mrs. Seller, when we get into escrow. Okay. What could they be? Well, they can ask for requests for repairs. I don't know what they're going to be right now. So I'm going to put 0, but the buyer will do inspections and may request from you and I that we rectify some of these items prior to closing escrow. So there could be some fees for that. Those are my buyer's fees. Anything that the buyer asks for when we get into escrow. Miscellaneous fees covers those buyer's fees. What are miscellaneous fees, Mr. Martinez? Miscellaneous fees are fees to cover those buyer's fees. I charge, and if you look at your seller's net sheet, from $1 to 500,000, $500. From 500 to $1 million plus, $1,000. Why do you got that miscellaneous there? To cover any buyer's fees. I got that miscellaneous there, $1,000. So if we go into escrow and the buyer says, can you fix this? Can you fix that? Can you fix this? I've got $1,000 to take care of those items already built into the contract, into the listing agreement. Otherwise, we have to go back to our sellers and say, oh, the buyers want to fix this, 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 and that. And I do. I tell them, buyers have given us a request of repairs. They want us to fix this, this, and that. And it's going to come out to about $750. But it's already in the net sheet because I put down under miscellaneous 1,000. What if we don't use that money, Mr. Martinez? If we don't use it, Mr. and Mrs. Seller, that money comes back to you. Okay. Non-owner occupied. This person built it in 2000, doesn't live there. She's been renting it out to Gina. She's been renting it out to Gina, and Gina's been living in this house with the swimming pool and everything and enjoying it. And now she's going to sell it. And she's going to sell it, and she hasn't lived in it. She's a non-owner occupied. I bought it. I moved out. It's an investment. Okay. What is non-owner occupied? The rule of how tax people look at it, if you've been out of it 2 years or more, you have to, or you could be back in. Okay. You go out of 5, so boom, or boom. Either way, I'm out of it 2 years. This person's been leasing it, let's say, for 3 or 4 now. So it's definitely a lease, non-owner occupied. Non-owner occupied, they're going to take out 3.33%. Who's taking it out? I'm not taking it out. I'm not telling you. Escrow's going to take it out automatically now. Why? Because they do that automatically on all non-owner occupied properties. They don't care. The government says, take it out. Okay. Now, my sellers will say this, and your sellers will say this to you. Can I get that money back? There may be a possibility you will, Mr. and Mrs. Seller. How can I get it back? If you've been paying your state and federal and your taxes like you're supposed to, then your accountant can get this, probably going to get this money back for you. If they haven't paid it, this might just be the beginning. Okay. So you can get this money back. I've sold properties that I paid my taxes and paid my all this. They take it out up front. You do your taxes, and then you prove to them that you've done your legal duties. They get your refund. You get your refund. Okay. But right now, they take it out. Escrow will take out state and federal, and they'll take out 3.33%. 3.33% of $1,150,000 is anybody? Anybody?
38,295.
38,295. Is that what you said?
Yes.
Yes, you are 100% correct. $38,295. Don't be afraid. Hey, don't be afraid to say it. Even if you're wrong, you're not going to be wrong with me, because that's what we're doing. We're trying to learn right here. So we can make, if you're going to make a mistake, anybody, let's make it right now. Okay? Not in front of our clients. Okay. So non-owner on this is going to be $38,295. Wow. Okay. So you can see when, if your client's looking at all this money, they go, wow, I'm paying all this money. That's where you got to be able to explain it to them. Mr. Martinez, you're going to be able to get that. If you paid your taxes, you're going to get that $38,295 back when you do your taxes. Oh yeah, I've been doing my, ooh, thank you for telling me that. Oh my goodness, I was freaking out. Okay. You ask the seller, and the seller said, do we have any private transfer tax? Now, private transfer tax, here goes. Who knows about private transfer tax? Nobody. The seller's the only one that usually knows. Title doesn't know because it's not on title. So don't go to the title guy and say, I'm gonna call my title guy and find out through the private transfer tax. They don't know because it's private. Okay. I bought a property with private transfer tax. And when you're buying a house and you're listening to the guy tell you everything, and he's giving you that big old book with the CC&Rs, conditions, covenants, restrictions, rules, and regulations, you know, that big book. You don't hear that word, and there's a private transfer tax, and it's blah, 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 blah. Because you just, and I want pink carpet, and I want this, and I want that, and I want this. Okay. But sellers should know that they had a private transfer tax. If you're the listing agent, I know you're supposed to know that there's a private transfer tax, but I know a lot of listing agents tell me, see, I don't know, okay? Because it's hard to know. If you're working in neighborhoods that are building right now, my suggestion to you is to go knock on all of those new builders and talk to them, introduce yourself to them, and ask them the question. Let me have a copy of your plans, house plans, and you have private transfer tax. So you have the information so you can use it to market with when you get those listings, when they become for sale. Okay. That's how you find out about the neighborhood before people live in them. Otherwise, you got to ask me, the seller. And a lot of sellers will say, I just don't know. Okay. So if they're built after 1999, they have a possibility of having private transfer tax. If it's a Lennar, it does. So people who got a Lennar listing, it's got a private transfer tax. And they're not in the thousands, they're in the hundreds, just so you'll know. And in this case, we asked the person, is there a private transfer tax? And she said, yes, Mr. Martinez, there is. And I said, do you happen to know what the fee is? And she said, yes, it's $1,500. So let's put down there on your net sheet, $1,500. Okay. I said, who pays for it? She goes, the seller pays for it. So she knew everything. Oh, that's a surprising thing. Okay. City transfer tax. I'm going to tell you this. I have never used it. You're not going to ever use it. So don't worry. You can even scratch it out. Okay. You're not going to use the city transfer tax. Okay. So let's add up all of our numbers so we can find out what this person is going, what the fees are going to be. Let's all go together. 25, 50 plus, what is it? 75 plus 125 plus 125 plus what? 2732 plus 2530 plus 125 plus 6,500 plus 200 plus 650 plus 57,500 plus 1,000 plus $38,295 non-owner plus $1,500 equals I hope I didn't miss any number. I might have missed one number, but I don't think so. I have a 113,907. Anybody have that same number? Everybody's checking their numbers. Okay.
Yes,
You got the same number?
same number.
113,907. All right. Thank you for
One-
confirming. Yes.
113,682.
Uh-oh. What number you got?
113,682.
113,682. Did anybody else get her number? Or did anybody else get the number I'm saying to you, 113,907? I have to run the numbers again. Here goes.
113,907.
Okay. But I want to just make sure, because we got somebody, just so it go. You don't have to do it. I'm going to do it. Here goes. Calculator. First number, escrow, 2550 plus sub escrow, 75 plus 125 plus 125 plus 2732 plus 2530 plus 125 plus 6,500 plus 2,000. Yep. No, 200. I'm sorry, 200 plus 650 plus 57,500 plus 1,000 plus 38,295 plus $1,500 for a total of 113,907. I stay by my first estimate. So you might have missed a number there. The lady that gave me 113,682, you're missing one number there. It is 113,907. So if you take that 113,907, look to your right of your net sheet where it says estimated closing costs. Put that there, 113,907. And we're going to do the last thing. We have projected gross equity of how much? 449,000 minus, now we know estimated costs minus 113,907 equals 335,093. That is what your client's going to be able to get. 335,093. After they pay out what they pay out, they'll walk away with 335,093. You heard what she said. Hey, if I could get $50,000, I want to go buy a condo. She can buy a condo, and you can tell her, let me take you out to get that condo. Okay. Now, if you double end it, you make more money. So this person's going to sell it for $1,150,000. If she sold it at that price with debt of 449,000 and costs of 113,907, she would take home a check of $335,093. Okay. Now you're taking the listing. If the offer came in at $1.2 million, she'd be making more money. This is just a net sheet when you're taking the listing. Okay. I want to make that clear. This is a listing net sheet. When I get an offer, I write up based on the offer. If the offer was $1,140,000, we'd be making it at $1,140,000. That's the offer that she's going to accept. Okay. That's the final net sheet. I may have, this is net sheet number 1. If I had 3 offers, I might have net sheet 2, 3, and the final one, 4. I'm just letting you know. Let's pull out the next one. Oh yeah, we got time to do it. We're gonna run through the next one. So everybody be with me real quick. All right, pull out the next one in San Bernardino County. We're gonna list it at 987. She says she'll take 980,000. That was her bottom line. We're gonna ask her what is what? Her debt. She says to you, Mr. Agent, I have a first trust deed of 500,000. Do you have any other debt? She says, no, that's all I owe is that. I pay all my cards and everything and I don't spend any money. So total debt, 500,000. What's the first thing you do? You go projected sales price minus debt equals projected gross equity. 980 minus 500,000 leaves you how much? $480,000. You don't need a calculator. It should be, come on. $480,000. 980 minus 500, 480. Projected gross equity. Now we start doing the next things. Let's go down. 980,000 times what? Times 0.2% equals 1,960. That gives you the escrow amount. Now, how much more do we got to add to that? $250 for what? Setup fee plus 250 equals 2,210. So our total escrow fee is going to be 2,210. Why? Because you say 980 times 0.2% gave you 1960 plus 250 gives you 2210. Are you with me? Okay. Sub escrow, $75. It's an escrow fee. No, it isn't. It's a title fee that's charged between escrow and title. You got recording, you got drawing, title insurance. Let's look for our title chart. Pull it out. Let me find mine. I don't know where I put it. Somebody's going to have to give me a title amount because I don't see my chart in front of me. Ah, here they are. Let me get them. All right, I see them. For 980,000. Anybody got the number? I'll tell you the number. 2488. 2488. Title insurance, $204,488. Why? The title chart tells me so. Okay. This is in San Bernardino County. What is the amount of transfer fee in San Bernardino County? $1.10. So here you go. You put in your 980,000 divided by 1,000 gives you 980. Okay. Times what? 1.1 equals 1,078. So our transfer fee is going to be 1,078. Prepayment penalty. Do you have one, seller? She says no. 0. Reconveyance, 125. Interest. How much is your payment, Mr. and Mrs. Seller? She says my payment is $5,000 a month. Do you have HOA? $250. So what's the total payment? $5,250. $5,250. Preps and docs, it's already there. $200. Appraisal, 0. Okay, pest inspection. We're not going to get one, Mr. and Mrs. Seller. We'll see if they order one, but we're not going to order one. 0. FHA and VA costs. You explain to the seller. Buyers can ask for costs. They can call it any name they want to. VA, FHA, conventional, Mickey Mouse, non-recurring, recurring, any name they want to. They can ask between 1% and usually 3% of the sales price. But let's not worry about that. When we get an offer, we can address that at that time. Okay, it's going to be 0. Okay, home warranty. Mr. and Mrs. Seller, we're not gonna get a home warranty. Let's make this one a 0. Okay. Brokerage, you were so dramatic, so dynamic. I'm gonna give you 6%. So let's look at 6% of 980,000. Oh my goodness. 58,800. 58,800. Buyer's fees. No, we're not going to give buyer's fees right now, but the buyers may go into escrow, do an inspection and say, I want you to fix the screens, the door, the this, the that. Those are the buyer's fees. Right now, it's 0. Miscellaneous. My chart says, hey, we're selling a house between what? Almost $1 million, $1,000 miscellaneous. What is the miscellaneous covers? All the buyer's fees in case they ask for stuff. And if they don't ask for anything, you get the money back. This is an owner occupied, so you don't have to worry about non-owner. That's 0. They no private transfer tax. Let's add it all up. Okay? Together. 2,210 plus 75 plus 125 plus 125 plus 2488 plus 1,078 plus 125 plus 5250 plus 200 plus 58,800 plus 1,000 equals, anybody want to give me their amount? We should have the same amount. I'll give you mine, 71,476. Does anybody have the same number? I see stuff on the chat. Let me check, see what it's saying on the chat. I'm sorry. Okay. All right. I should be looking on the chat for all the answers. There you go. Anyhow, on this one, it's 71,476. Does anybody agree with me on the total? Or am I wrong? Because I could be wrong. He's got 70,446. You got that miscellaneous in there? The other one's got 71,476 like I have. Okay. I'll leave you the numbers that we have, but I say it's 71,476. I won't go over it again. I may be wrong, but I don't think so. Okay, there you go. There you go. There you go. So it's now let's subtract the 71,476 from what? The 480. 71,476. 480 minus 71,476 equals 408,524. I have if you take 480,000 minus 71,476, which is the estimated cost, we wind up with a net of 408, Mr. Seller, 524 approximately when it closed. And see, everything where it says estimated cost, ladies and gentlemen, those are the things we talk about. Escrow fee, title fee, and some people use the word and garbage fees. There is no thing as a garbage fee. These are the fees. And if you learn how to do the net sheet correctly, it can be done like that. And the point I'm trying to make, we were at 11:10 when we started this net sheet. It took us almost an hour to do net sheet number 1 because we're learning. But you see how fast we did net sheet number 2? That's how fast you need to do it when you're taking a listing. I'm doing these when we take a listing. I'm talking to you. I'm usually, again, I'm going to give you a technique. When I get there, I usually put everything on the table and I say to my clients, can we walk around the property? Why? Because I don't give estimates on a property without looking at it. I want to look in the backyard, maybe dirt. So I'm looking at the property, and while I'm looking at the property, I have my book with me, and I'm usually saying stuff like this. How much do you owe on the property? What's your mortgage payment? Are there HOAs? Why? So I can have the information ready for my net sheet before I sit down. So when I sit down, I'm already putting that information in there. I'm not going to wait to sit down. And I'm looking at the property. Once again, I am one of those agents that still does old-fashioned way. I just don't look at the MLS pictures. I go by and drive to the property. If I can get in, I look inside the property, because I know a lot of people tell me my house is as nice as the one that's sold down the block. And I saw the one down the block, and it has hardscape, landscape, pond, rippling water. And the one I'm looking at it, and you know how they tell you, and look at the backyard, Mr. Martinez. It's a perfect canvas for someone to create their dreams. You've heard that. I live in the desert. All the houses here say to you, this is the perfect place for you to create your dreams. An open canvas. That means there's nothing there. So I'm old-fashioned. I look at it. I do my due diligence. I hope you learned something from this class today. We conduct these classes once a month. I hope you keep coming to the classes so that you can learn. Next month, we'll have a different type of class. It's never the same. Different type of property, different scenarios, so that we can help you get there. You ought to practice on your own. Make your own net sheet. And like I said, you can do your own due diligence. I looked the other day just to check in other states, in the Carolinas and different places where they've got, this one I got in front of me is from North Carolina, Association of Realtors. And I looked at their net sheet, and if you could figure it out, you know, I think the one I'm giving you, if you learn how to do it, it's easy to do. For those of you who've never done it, practice it. For you, those of you who are doing it, keep on doing it. But use a net sheet. And if you're not going to use one, get one from Escrow, an estimated, at the very least, an estimated HUD estimate from Escrow, and ask your escrow officer to explain how to explain that HUD to your sellers so that you are telling them what it says. Any other questions?
There's one, Jose.
Yeah.
Betty is asking, do you give this sheet to the potential seller or only after signing the listing agreement?
Very good question, Debbie. Here it goes. I like to go first. When I go on the list and they tell me we're going to be interviewing agents, I like to be the first one. Why? Because, and I'll explain it to you. I'm going to show them the net sheet. And I'm going to say, Mr. and Mrs. Seller, you're going to net $408,524. One of the things they like to do is say, can I keep that? And I go, no. I'll be glad to give you one. And this will answer your question. I'll be glad to give you one because you're going to sign it. I'm going to sign it when we take the listing. And every time we get an offer and the offer you finally accept. And why do I do that, Debbie? Because I know there are other agents, like I told you, that don't do this. They don't even have a clue of what a seller's net sheet is about. Okay. And we're competing. You, I, and other agents. That's a good question. No, I don't leave it with them. I let them see it. I see the numbers, and I tell them if they'd like to work with me, fine. I've had people call me back and say, can you come back, Mr. Martinez, because of the seller's net sheet? Because I know a lot of my competitors are going to go there and don't have a clue how to use it or how to explain it. So that's a good question. No, I don't leave it with them until they sign with Jose. Okay. So you don't leave until they sign with you, Debbie. I hope I answered your question. Any other one? It's a great listing tool. It's a great marketing tool. To me, hey, it's a legal tool. It's not just a listing tool, it's a legal tool. Because when the lawyer asks me, Mr. Martinez, do you give a seller's net sheet? Yes, I do. Can you explain the seller's net sheet? Yes, I can. That doesn't mean we're right or we're wrong. All it means is I have this in place. That this is what it's sort of like a disclosure. I've given you this disclosure. I've made this a disclosure to you. And when my client, here's another thing for all of you. When we close escrow, I never have any of my sellers call me up to say, Mr. Martinez, I got more money. Okay, not just $5, not $100, but thousands of dollars more. Okay, so I told you, I give mine to my escrow officer so she can have it. It is just an estimate. And then I look at my estimate and the closing statement. And when my estimate says 408,524 and they get 410 and change, I'm the first one to say to them, congratulations. We were able to get you more than the seller's net sheet. Oh, thank you. Because they're not going to tell you. And I let them know we got more money than what I promised you. Why? Because I'm going to be asking for a referral or a letter of recommendation. That's when the time to ask, oh, you got more money. I see we said 408 and you got 410. Congratulations. By the way, can I get that letter of recommendation and referral you promised me? Yes, Mr. Martinez. All right. I hope that answered your questions. I hope to see all of you next month. Practice, practice, practice. My number is 909-437-9364. If you have any questions, I'm making myself available to you. You can call me, okay? I don't want you to be stuck. Okay, call me up if you have a question. Till we see each other in a month. Peace and love. Take care.
Thank you, Jose. Thank you.
All right. Take care, you guys.
You take
Bye.
care.
Bye-bye.
Thank you, Jose.